This is a Subaru shift indicator with a fairly common problem. Supply power here. Turn down this light so it shows up. Notice our indicator is lit up here, but we have nothing on this bottom one. It could be either one is out or both. So what happens here is the actual LED on the board burns out. If you replace this with a factory part, it'll probably still happen. I designed a updated LED board for these. There's a couple things different here. It's got a different rating Xenear diode, which stops the voltage from rising too high at the LED. And for power dissipation, I use three 3K resistors instead of two 2K resistors. So with that, it runs cooler. Alright, so there are a few different Subaru models that use this same board in a different shifter assembly. The boards they use here come out pretty easy. Just need to pull up on them at the same time you push a little clip back. So what I did, I push these little clips back as I pull up on the board, and it slides out. Same thing on this one. You have these two little clips here. The ones on this you usually push down with your thumbnail. So to disconnect these, there's a little tab in the middle. Comes right out. Comes right out. So this is the new board compared to the old one. So the way you connect the wires to this varies depending on how you want to do it. You could just cut these off, strip them, and put them in these little holes and solder them. Don't know if it's showing up in camera very well, but this top one's negative, bottom one's positive. This is negative and positive. There's two different locations depending on where you want to put it. That would be the easiest, just to cut this off and solder it. Now you got to know which wire is positive and negative, and as far as color codes, it could vary depending on what model you got. But with this connected, they have the same orientation. So if you set these side by side, in this case this black one would be on the top, negative. This brown one would be on the bottom, positive. So as far as connecting wires, we can cut them off, or you can use your own connector, whatever type. You can solder a connector in. In my case, I have the tool here where I can crimp the pins on the wires and change connectors to one that's more commonly available. And you could use that. What I'm going to try here, though, I don't want to have to mess with this wire, so I'm going to try to remove this connector, see if it's possible to use it on this. I haven't done this before, so this will be the first one. But soldered on the back half a little bit on the pins, and there's some solder on the sides. In my case, I'm just going to heat up the back of the board, see what I get. We'll see if I can't set anything on fire here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up the back of the board till the solder melts, because this is a surface mount connector. Obviously, it goes without saying that these boards are destroyed at that point. You're not going to be reusing this one. That's okay. We don't need it. We just need this part. Now, in my case, I didn't get it quite hot enough. This one desoldered, but these 3 pads are still there. This one doesn't matter a whole lot, but these 2, I need to clean these pads up. So what I'll do is I'll get a soldering iron and strip those pads. This one came off in a similar fashion, where it left a couple of the traces on here, but these 2 came off all the way. Lead in between, wipe these away. Probably forgot I zoomed in. So here's the connector after it's cleaned off. Then the pins down. Okay, so we have our connector ready. Test fit seems to look pretty good. I want to put a little bit of glue on it. There's probably a better option for this than other than super glue, but clamp it, straighten it a little bit. Alright, we'll come back and solder it when it dries. Okay, so in this case, the glue is not quite dry, but it's close. I am going to go ahead and solder it while I'm waiting. Want to be sure to flow enough in there it goes all the way through to the other side, because these pins don't go all the way through the holes. Okay. If you look at the other side, you see the solder has wicked all the way up the connector, so that is good. And now we have 2 replacements. So now I'm going to go ahead and install these. So one with the shorter wire goes over here. It should slide in place. Just got to slide this clip out of the way so it can go. There we go. LED lines up perfect. We're just going to that wire routes something like that. And this one slides in here. Alright, there we go. New upgraded circuit boards for the LEDs. Wires all routed properly. This one tucks down there like that. Goes on here. Let's go ahead and test it. So put our power and ground. Whatever, we'll run it this way. Shut off the light for this one. And power on. There we go. Right, there's what it looks like off. There's what it looks like turned on. See the video description section for any additional information.